Hi, this is Next Level Technical. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So, in this particular video session, I'll be talking about DHCP. DHCP actually stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So it's a protocol that actually helps to it allows easy administration of connected host devices. So what that actually does is that instead of you assigning IP address, maybe you work in a cyber cafe or in a restaurant, a public domain, or in a private organizations, and you don't want to take the headache of assigning IP address to those connected devices one by one. So with DHCP, you can actually do that dynamically. So what are those things that is offered by DHCP? It offers IP address, it offers subnet mask, domain name, default gateways, DNS server, and Wins server. So, and there are several devices that support DHCP server. Cisco router support DHCP server, built-in DHCP server, MikroTik router the same, and even Windows server has full built-in DHCP server as well. So this particular diagram you see me showing right here on the screen is actually going to be on two phase. So this particular phase where my mouse is, I'll be discussing on DHCP server in this session. So in the second video session, I'll be talking about DHCP relay using this portion of the diagram. But for today, for now, I'll be using DHCP server for this particular setup. So DHCP server actually listings on port number UDP port number 67. So if you need more theoretical knowledge about DHCP, I advise that you make some research. It's actually a simple protocol to make life easy for an IT administrator. So without any further delay, let's log into this router and configure. So this is the router. I'll log in this device as well, just to show you certain configuration. Like I said, this portion is where I'll be working on DHCP server. So if I come to any of these hosts, clients, host or client devices, and I issue DHCP, I will not obtain any IP address. Let's see, no IP address. The same thing if I do that here, DHCP. I'm not going to see any IP address coming. See, you see, can't find DHCP server because the port that is request on the port is requesting on port number 67 is not responding. Can't find DHCP server. So I will now, if you, this router is where this is a Cisco router. So first and foremost, on this particular video session, I'll be talking I have three series on DHCP. Here is on DHCP server. The second video session will be talking about DHCP relay, and the third video session is going to be on MikroTik. It's going to be on MikroTik DHCP server as well. It's just a simple configuration, and then so let's go right into it. First and foremost, let me check the interface. Do show IP interface brief. Interface brief. You notice all the interface are shut down and no IP address is assigned. So I will go into this particular interface E1/1, and assign an IP address. I'm going to use class C, although we operate now in class slash inter-domain routing nowadays. So I say 10.1, then 255.255.255.0. This is a /24 IP address. I will assign and then no short that interface. So exit this interface now. So I've actually assigned an IP address facing this device router, switch, and the host devices. So first and foremost, before I configure DHCP server, I need to exclude IP address, IP DHCP, what excluded address, and I'm excluding this IP address are assigned on this interface 192.168.10.1 so that it will not be issued out to devices. That's going to be a conflict. I'm going to assign a high bit IP address, high IP address, so 192.168.10.10. The range is from 1 to 10, meaning that I should not issue any of this range to any connected devices. Now, this IP address ID slash 24, which is 255.255.0, is actually the usable IP is from 1 to 254. 0, 192.168.10.0 is the network, 255 is the broadcast. So the usable is from 1 to 254. So in this environment, 192.10.1, 192.10.1 to 192.10.10 should not be issued out. Now, why do I need this IP address excluded? For some devices that I want to manage myself, so that IP address should not be rotated. For example, printers. I cannot afford to be looking for the IP address assigned to a printer that everyone is using. So that I can actually, if I have there's any configuration I want to do on that IP address, so that we know that that IP address is going to such and so printers. And then also for wireless, I don't want to be guessing the IP address because the IP address assigned to wireless might be two now. In the next, after the lease time has expired, it can be 10, it can be any number. So I will assign out of this range for it. It's just for managed, to be able to manage certain devices. That is why I'm excluding this IP address. So the next now is to configure the pool, IPDHP pool. So I'll give, now if you check question mark, it's asking for pool name. I'll say users underscore pool. I'll click enter. Now I'm in DHCP config mode. So on this mode, just a few commands is necessary to get your DCP running, but there are other options you can go with. Default router is number one. Then I'm referring to the IP address I configured on this interface, this guy here. I click enter and I say network. So the network IP is 192.168.10.0 as I earlier stated, and then the mask is 255.255.255.0. I'll define that. And then another important thing is to define the lease. Now the lease is in days, 0 days, 0 hours, and then let me say 60 minutes. Let me okay 0, 0, 30 minutes. So let me do question mark so that you see. The first is 0 days, and then the second is let me say 1 day. The second is in hours, and the other is in minutes. Now, this list is just to have some basic ideas. If you are in your private organization, in a place where you manage, and your staff resume by let me say the working hours is 8, you can just set the hours. This is 0 days to 9 hours, such that when a device is assigned IP address, that IP address will be used throughout that day, and when you close the second day, a new IP will be issued, and that's a 0 minute. But you can't do this 9 hours in a public domain, maybe in a restaurant or in a cyber cafe, because you will run out of IP address quickly. Now, someone that has been assigned an IP address that just spent 30 minutes and leaves, that IP will be counting down until 9 hours before issuing that IP again to be reused by another device. So just make it an approximate hour minute. And say, let me say, you give it 40 minutes, meaning that after 40 minutes, that IP address should be assigned to any available device. So I'll stop at 40 minutes. That is all. The another thing I want this GCP server to hand over to devices, to connected clients, is going to be the DNS server for name, to resolve names. So I can also actually sign up to about six. Well, I think I'll stop at two DNS server. I think I'm done now. That's just the simple configuration, nothing more. Let me say do show uh I show IP interface brief. Okay. So now to verify what I have done. Okay, let's go to these devices. Earlier on I said when I did the DHCP, they said they can't find server. So I'm going to reissue that command again, DHCP, and let's see if this server is working. Let me see what exactly is happening there. Okay, there's an IP conflict. Okay, okay. So what is DORA? DORA actually stands for discover, offer, requests, and acknowledgement. It's a process to which device asks for IP that look, I need an IP address. DHCP will respond, an acknowledgement and things like that. That is the short of DORA. Discover, offer, request, and acknowledgement. Let me see DH. Let me repeat the same thing. So you see, IP address now has been issued to this guy here, and it's starting from 13. So the same thing, DORA. So the next IP is 14. Look at it now. It has excluded. I've excluded. Actually use it for a config earlier on. That's why I'm saying this conflict here. So if actually there's a conflict in your network, what you do in executive mode, exit. This is executive mode. I'll just say clear IP. Why am I using IP? Because a lot of protocol runs through IP. All road leads through IP. IP uh, clear IP DHCP bindings. This will clear, and then you say star for all automatic binding. This will clear the IP binding. So I can actually do okay, sorry. Show IP DHCP pool to view the pool that I created. So this is the pool, is the pool name that I've created. Utilization is 100 out of high, 100 and low. So and then the current index, you see everything here, and then the total IP address that is usable is 254. So one subnet is currently in the pool. So that is just it, and then you can also show IP DHCP bindings. There is another option here. So there's no binding actually because I've cleared it earlier on. Let me reissue this DHCP or reissue that command. That is just to verify. Let me reissue that. I will reissue that command. So it has reissued another 15, another IP from 15, and then 16. So I will let me reissue show IP DHCP binding. So there are two IP that have been binded. These are the two IP now, and then these are just to verify. Let me see show uh, IP DHCP database. You see a lot of information here. Okay, all right. Show IP DHCP. What else again? I can check. Let me see DHCP server. So you can actually play around some of these just to see whatever information you want to see. Okay, so that is that for that. And the GCP is running. The GCP is running. And these are the IP address assigned. If I had not this IP address, let me just quickly see. Let me not so that I can reach. Let me ping 8.8.8.8. In one of my upcoming sessions, I will discuss on how to NAT. I'll discuss in details on NAT, which is network address translations. So let me just add um, a NAT, like a cloud access to internet, and then let me just NAT. It is not reachable because there's no internet in the router. So config T interface E1 slash IP address DHCP. No short. Exit to show IP interface brief. Okay. I'm expecting to have an IP address to show IP interface brief. Okay, so an IP address has been assigned dynamically. Let me see if I can have, if I do have, do ping a.8.8.8.8. So there's internet in the router. So let me quickly NAT this IP address. Let me show you, do show IP interface brief. This is the IP 192.168.com. So IP NAT inside source list. So I'm going to use one of those standard ACL1, and then interface E interface E1 slash 2 overload, and then let me define the access list that created access lists one. I used one earlier on, access list one, and then permit 192.168.10.0, and then the white card is going to be 0.0.0.255. Yep. So let me do ping a.a.a.8. Let me source it from 192.168.10.1. And no access to internet. Why is that? To show that. Oh, I've not defined the outside NAT and inside NAT. So interface E1 slash 2 IP NAT outside, interface E1 E1 slash 1 IP NAT inside. Exit to show run session NAT. Okay, so let me reissue that the ping test that I did earlier on. So my ping test is now successful to the outside world. Do ping from the source. So it is successful, of course, 80%. So let me now, this was not reachable earlier on. Let me now see if it is now. Request timed out, and why that is. Um, why that is. This is replying. Let me check why this is not. This also supposed to be ping 8.8.8. It's replying. So I cannot actually tell. Maybe the translation has not taken place as at that time. So I can really confirm the NAT translation now by show IP NAT translations. And the ICMP test I issued earlier on, because what I did is overload. It translates with the port number. Well, in one of your comment session, I'm going to discuss on that, and this is the protocol ICMP. So I'll discuss on that, but the basic focus is on DHCP. It's on DHCP server. So this is how to actually configure. My intention actually for this video was to configure DHCP server for you to see how it is configured. But I just quickly added NAT to it. So the next video after this is going to be on DHCP. So let me save this config. Do right. All right. So thank you viewers for joining me in my video session. I I will really appreciate if you can actually like and share so that my channel can grow and I get more views. And then I promise more interesting content. In one of my upcoming video sessions, I'll be talking about the IGP and the EGP, which is interior gateway protocol and exterior gateway protocols. I'll be talking in interior gateway protocol, I'll be talking in details on static routing, on OSPF and EIGRP. You understand? So just stay tuned. But for the now, I'm still just going around the peripherals, the interesting, just the little things that make up the network. So stay tuned. Well, my next video is going to be on DHCP relay. Thank you for joining me today and do stay blessed. Thank you.